Hello, back in the shed again, and the sun's shining, it's lovely, and we are up to chapter 23, Strange. Very strange, said the doctor, no text. I can explain, said Malcolm's genie. I have no inner thoughts. All my thoughts are outer thoughts. You have been defeated again, you cruel but useless little man. Again, said Malcolm. Have you done this sort of thing before? Do you two know each other? Oh, yes, said Malcolm's genie. I can tell you that this is none other than Dr. Roop-de-Doop, the evil power summoned by Uncle Gobb to run the minds of 38% of the world's population. But he is always hungry for more. He won't stop until he gets control of all the minds. But I, the genie of the magic lamp, magic nose, interrupted Malcolm. Magic nose, you're right. I, the genie of the magic nose, along with you two brave boys, possess the one power that will stop the evil doctor for once and all. What power is that? Whispered Cracker-Snacker, who was getting quite hungry now and wanted to go back to the cloakroom to pick up his Crumbles bar. One of those bars which are made of chocolate, but there's some special crumbly chocolate inside. You knew that already. I'm not really sure about the one power that will stop the evil doctor for once and for all just now. Not at the moment, said the genie. But it sounded really good when I said it, don't you think? Yes, it did sound good. But did you find out about the name of Gobb being on the end of the worksheets and everything? Malcolm asked urgently. Oh, I did, said the genie. And? Said Cracker-Snacker. At this moment in time, said the genie, I can't quite figure if the name Gobb is on the worksheets because they are Uncle Gobb's worksheets, or if Dr. Roop-de-Doop put the Gobb name there. But between them, believe me, they did it. Now, you might be wondering what Dr. Roop-de-Doop was doing while all this chat was going on. I'll tell you. He was fulminating. Fulminating. An explanation. Fulminating means he was muttering and grunting and planning and scheming and breathing and spitting. Spitting is not an absolute must as part of fulminating and is really rather unpleasant. I'm sorry I mentioned it, but because it was really something that Dr. Roop-de-Doop did, I thought I had to. Another thing you might be wondering is, what was Uncle Gobb doing all this time? And that is an even more interesting question. Uncle Gobb was preparing to destroy Malcolm and Cracker-Snacker. Deep inside his brain, something had made him realise that it was Malcolm, and now his friend too, who had been so stupid as to join with Malcolm in this whole stupid business, who stood in his way. Look, he's ready to take over the world. Here, he was trying to improve the world, and there was Malcolm asking all the wrong questions, or no questions, and answering the wrong answers, or the right answers at the wrong time, sticking his nose into things to do with the name of Gobb and Dr. Roop-de-Doop, and it was slowing everything down, stopping him getting on with making the world a place where people could be nice. Rich people would be nice to poor people, and poor people would be nice to rich people. That's all he wanted. It came to Uncle Gobb in a flash. Malcolm and Cracker-Snacker must be put in the dread shed, out of which no one had ever come. Yes, the dread shed that was like Alcatraz, an island in the middle of the San Francisco Bay from which no one had ever escaped, apart from Clint Eastwood in a movie. Uncle Gobb turned to Dr. Roop-de-Doop, and whispered something. I can tell you what he whispered, but if you asked Malcolm and Cracker-Snacker, they wouldn't be able to tell you. Uncle Gobb whispered, Dread Shed. It's at this point in the story you probably understand there are two plans going on. One, Malcolm wanting to bamboozle and confoozle Uncle Gobb so as to get rid of him. And two, Uncle Gobb thinking about how to do bad things to Malcolm. And if that meant bad things happening to Cracker-Snacker too, so be it. This means conflict and the dread shed. Wait a minute. Yeah. Chapter 24, The Last Battle. From far off came the sound of the rumbling of casters. The dread shed was approaching the playground. Uncle Gobb moved slowly and threateningly towards Malcolm. Dr. Roop-de-Doop moved slowly and threateningly towards Cracker-Snacker. Here they come, and here comes the dread shed. Malcolm's genie, who, according to legend, should have been defending the two boys with one of those great curly swords called scimitars, had found a long mirror and was doing some kind of exercise routine in front of it, so he could observe his muscles getting bigger and smaller along his arms, along his legs, across his shoulders and down his front. "I thought you said that my wish was your command," said Malcolm. "Yes," said the genie, "but that was before I found this mirror. I am seriously impressed with the way I've bulked up," he said. "Just look at those biceps." "We're finished now," said Cracker-Snacker. "Done for. We're dead meat." Uncle Gobb put his hand out to Dr. Roop-de-Doop and held back his ever-onward rush. "Before you disappear forever into the hell that is the dread shed," said Uncle Gobb, "I want to explain one more thing to you, Malcolm." "Oh, swash and swoosh," whispered Malcolm to Cracker-Snacker. "His explanations are the worst of the lot. He goes on and on and on and on. I bet he says something about China." "This school," said Uncle Gobb, with a great, sneery, leery look on his face, "this school was built by the same people who abolished the dread sheds. And that, as my dear, dear father would say, was where the trouble started. It was schools like this, full of boys like you. You're what's gone wrong. You! "Uncle Gobb, you're doing that spitting thing again," said Malcolm. "How do you mean again? Have I done the spitting thing before?" said Uncle Gobb, with a worried edge to his voice. "Oh yes, Uncle Gobb," said Malcolm menacingly. "I didn't want to mention it, but it is an example of bad hygiene. We learned about it in science, didn't we, Cracker-Snacker?" "Yeah," said Cracker-Snacker, as menacingly as possible in that one short word. "Yeah." "I've tried everything I can do to make this school better," said Uncle Gobb. "Do you know about my Gobb Education Force, who are ready whenever I ask them to rush in here and find out what's gone wrong? You've seen all the wonderful sheets and charts and posters that Dr. Roop and I have made?" Cracker-Snacker nodded very noddingly at Malcolm when Uncle Gobb mentioned that. So Malcolm had been right. Aha! And aha again. Uncle Gobb carried on. "I even saved the very last dread shed from destruction. This is all about making things better. You've even been in my dream, haven't you, boy? You were there the other day. You saw what I was trying to do. Yes, I've done all I can. All I can. All I can." As he said this, Uncle Gobb started bringing the fist of his right hand slap, slap, slap into the palm of his left hand. Dr. Roop-de-Doop started growling and preparing more metal plugs to stick into the heads of Malcolm and Cracker-Snacker. Cracker-Snacker turned to Malcolm. "This is where you need to bring about the downfall of Uncle Gobb and..." Yeah, I know," interrupted Malcolm. "I'm just working on it." Chapter 25. Working on it. Look, there's his working. Always important to show how you've done it. And at that point, we'll pause before we start chapter 26. Bye.